Hello, and welcome to the Metalheads podcast Black Friday special. For those of you outside the US, let me give you a little background on Black Friday. Every year on Thanksgiving, we give thanks that the Native Americans were foolish enough to take in early settlers and help them survive. We celebrate this by eating food until we nearly explode and watching American football. Then, on the next day, Black Friday, we spend obscene amounts of money on things that are supposedly deeply discounted, but probably cost the same as any other day. If you would rather not take part in Black Friday foolishness, we here at the Metalheads podcast can offer you a better use of your time. This, our Black Friday special episode. This episode is a compilation of recent field recordings as well as an interview. This first set of field recordings is from when John and I went to see Gojira. Check it out. Hello, this is George. I am in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I am waiting for John because we are going to the Gojira show at the Fillmore. And I have won the parking wars because I managed to get down 495 to Silver Spring before John did. Even though I live much further away, he had to spend more time on what is known as the Capital Beltway, and it's a mother of a drive. And so he's now sending me text messages and cursing about the traffic, and I'm sitting here in the parking garage waiting for him so we can go get some food and beer prior to the show. So I just thought I would record a little snippet here and let you know that I win. I got here first. Yeah, who gives a shit, right? I know, but I got to do something to fill the time until John gets here. So there you have it. So yeah, we're going to see Gojira. It's a good thing that my computer sends me notifications. Today's Wednesday. I thought the show was on Friday, so yesterday my computer's like, "Hey, you got a show tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh, well, shit. Good thing you told me, because I was thinking it was Friday." I'm sure John would have said something to me that would have triggered the memory, but regardless, it's a good thing. And so here we are. Gojira's playing tonight, supporting their new album, Magma, which everybody on the podcast, as far as I can tell, is a fan of. Just last night I realized I didn't know who the opener was, so I looked that up, and supposedly it is Tesseract, a very progressive, possibly djenty sort of band that John says that he's, relatively fond of. I gave a little bit of a listen to them, their latest album earlier today, and I gotta say, after Prog Power, I thought, okay, I can handle this. But I'm still a little on the fence. So maybe their live set will win me over. I guess we'll see. So anyway, I guess that'll do it for now. John and I will report back after the show and give a post-mortem. I'll see you then. Hello, and welcome to the Metalheads podcast Gojira post-mortem. Or how do you say it?
I can't really say it that well, but I think it's like Gojira.
Okay, then.
It sounds just like you said it, basically. I don't have a voice right now, so.
Only not like how I said it. Yeah. So we just got out of the show. There were remarkably and wonderfully only two bands.
Yeah, that was nice for once, Yeah. I enjoyed it.
After seeing so many bands in a row all the time, two bands is refreshingly brief. And I was speculating earlier about whether I would enjoy Tesseract, and they were all right. They certainly weren't haking.
No, they weren't. I've seen them before, and I thought they were all right, too. Just thought, given where we were positioned, that there was way too much bass. Seeing as we were right next to the rack, I guess the hanging racks upstairs. So,
yeah. Speaking of bass, the bass player for Tesseract was like doing yoga on stage, and he was barefoot. It bordered on almost kind of pretentious, but I let it slide because they were doing all right. But what John was saying about where we were sitting, so we walked in, and the place was maybe like a quarter full, a third full. What do you think?
When we first walked in, yeah, I think so.
and we were looking at the chairs that are up on either side of the balcony, on either side of the room, speculating about being able to go up there. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, we can go up there. Yeah, it's all general admission up there. Well, apparently it's changed since they put those seats in. It used to be standing room general admission up there at the Fillmore. But now there's like 3 levels of VIP seating. Now, a ways back, Buke and I went to a show here. I think it was Testament headlining and Anthrax and Death Angel. And we upgraded to the premium seats for like another $100 or something ridiculous like that. And we got like to sit at a table like at the top front middle of the balcony and have like drink service and food service and all that fun stuff. But apparently there's 2 other levels now, like a second row back the front, the best area where we sat that one time, I guess it's $60 to upgrade to it. So it'd been $120 for 2 people, which is crazy. And then 1 row back from that is $30. And the seats along the side you can get for $15. So we were kind of like, hell yeah, we want seats and be able to see well. So we upgraded for $15, and we decided to go all the way to the end and basically be side of the stage. And I thought that turned out pretty well.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. We got a lot of monitor sound basically, and the drums might not have been mic'd as well if you're standing in front. But I didn't care because I don't mind getting monitor sound. It's a little bit more organic, I think. So it was cool. I enjoyed it. It's always cool to watch them on the side of the stage and what they're doing and the different times they're going to hit their boards and bass pedal work, and it was all good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both bands. Tesseract was all right, but Gojira was pretty awesome.
They were definitely the reason to be there. They amped it up another notch or 2 and just kicked ass. I mean, the crowd seemed relatively pleased by Tesseract, but they didn't lose their mind like they did when Gojira came on.
The crowd, the whole show was crazy. I think there's only maybe a few songs for only a few moments where they kind of took a break themselves, but for the most part, the crowd kind of went apeshit the whole night, which was cool.
And I don't know. So one of the bonuses of being where we were was that we could lean over the railing and see straight down where they were taping up the set lists. So we got a bit of a preview of what was going on. But now maybe I lost track, but I swear they played 2 more songs than were on that list.
And see, I thought they played one less song the whole night.
Really?
Yeah, because on the set list they had the song Remembrance, and I don't, to use the word, remember them actually playing it, but I think it might have been mixed in with another song at the time. But I think they extended some songs. It seemed like they did, didn't it?
Yeah.
They added some, I think they had some improv moments there that weren't on the set list. And speaking of the set list, what did you think of the new songs? I thought they sounded way heavier live than on the album.
Oh, totally. And it was interesting to watch them play the part... is it in Stranded, where it's like the which it looks like they're using whammy pedals for that, but it was interesting because it's like they hold the strings with their fretting hand at like, I don't know, look like down somewhere around the 12th fret or so, and then would use their picking hand to actually pick notes behind where they're fretting, closer to the bridge. And I was like, sneaky. So that was kind of cool to be able to observe that.
Yeah, I am being the former drummer that I am. I was watching Mario a lot tonight, and where we were being the very last position you could have before you had to go behind the curtain to the other behind the stage section. I enjoyed getting to watch him play all night, so it was cool.
Yeah, I thought you might be enjoying that. So yeah, it was a good show. It was definitely worth coming out for. We're sorry that Will couldn't be here with us. He had a ticket but was unable to attend despite that. So
we thought of him. We thought of you, Will. Sorry you couldn't make it. Hopefully you got to enjoy some of the pictures. We took the best we could. It was kind of hard. The lighting was... we never got a lot of just natural light. It was a lot of just different colors and flashing back and forth and smoke all over the place, and it's kind of cool actually.
I live streamed the first 3 Gojira songs through Facebook for Will. I have no idea how the sound is. It's probably horrible, but it's the thought that counts, right? So
yeah, I have like 10 seconds, I think, because I'm always worried that I'm going to film and I'm going to get busted again like I did at the Fillmore in San Francisco for Porcupine Tree like a gazillion years ago. So I'm always worried I'm going to get in trouble. So I did like 10 seconds of Flying Whales when the place went crazy when they do after their long intro and then they kick in. I was like, oh, I got to get at least this, and that was most excellent, I thought.
Yeah, well, there was like a drink ledge on the railing, and it's just the right height that you can set your phone down in it, and at least my phone, the iPhone 6 Plus, so it's a little bigger, and the camera sits up over the lip, so you can just set it down and let it record. And so when Gojira was getting ready to come on, I set it down, I started it, and then I sort of leaned over and just sort of tried to like block all the light coming from it so that it wouldn't annoy the people behind us, and more importantly not attract attention from any of the staff. And 3 songs was I felt like was kind of pushing the limit of what I dared do before somebody comes and taps me on the shoulder and kicks me out. So hey, you got to go see the show. This is just supposed to be a taste anyway. So hopefully it came out reasonably well, and you get to check it out. But it was definitely a good show, and I'm glad that we did this. And we'll be back here again next week for Opeth.
Yeah, and I plan on leaving on Thursday to get here because I'm not sitting in an hour and a half of traffic to go 20 miles again. So fuck you, DC, and fuck your traffic. I lived here for 20 plus years, and I just absolutely hate it with a passion.
Yeah, traffic sucks. I mean, I came from further away, I think.
You did.
Yeah, technically, mileage-wise.
And you did, and you beat me by about 20 minutes to the parking lot, and it pissed me. No, I wasn't pissed that you were here. I was just pissed I was sitting at a stoplight somewhere in fucking Chevy Chase. I don't know where I was, because the Beltway, there was like 4 or 5 accidents from where I was coming from. So I had to cut across through the city a little bit, and then I had to cut through Maryland, through some of the towns, unfortunately. So,
well, hopefully you'll make it up on this end where you get home about 45 minutes before I do.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the Beltway. You never know what's going to happen on the Beltway. So
that's true.
It could be a shitstorm. So,
yeah. I was going to say something and I forgot. Something about the traffic, and I don't know. Oh, I remember what it was. When I got on 495, based on what you were saying, I was kind of looking around. There's only like 6 lanes of traffic, but I was looking around for your car, going, maybe I'll run into him and we'll sync up and get here at the same time. But no such luck.
No, I had to cut it. Like I said, I had to cut across through. I had to take a small bridge over and avoid the Beltway completely. It was a nightmare from my area all the way up to here. So if you're from this area, you know what I'm talking about. You get it. If you're not, whatever. There's nothing more, and there's nothing more I can say about it. So
that's all you're going to say? Yeah, that's all you have to say about that?
Exactly.
All right. Well, do you have anything else to say about anything else other than the thing that you're not going to say anything more about?
I thought for the first show of this tour, they did a pretty good job. There were mistakes. They admitted to them, and it's expected on the first night. But for a first night on the tour, both bands I thought were pretty damn tight, considering. There's always going to be, when you take a layoff from playing and you start up again, even if you just played a month ago, it's always the first night of a leg is always a tough night to play. So I thought both bands did very well in that aspect.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it took, I don't know, it was partway through Tesseract, I'm guessing, before I remembered, oh yeah, it's the opening night. So yeah, that was pretty good. Well, I guess that's all I've got. Like I said, we'll get back to you next week when we do Opeth. I'm only doing Opeth once. Somebody's doing Opeth twice.
Yeah, we'll be doing Opeth here in Silver Spring next Friday, and then Buke and my buddy TR and I are heading up to New York to see them at Radio City Music Hall for their special 25th anniversary show. I'm not sure what they're going to do, so that should be fun. We have great seats for that.
And TR is going to be here for the Fillmore show too, right?
That's correct, actually. Thank you for correcting me. Sorry, TR. Yeah. TR, our friend from Prague Power, is going to be here. So maybe we'll get some words of wisdom and he can sharpen his dragons for us a little bit. So,
Indeed. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing TR again. Tiara. Can we call him Tiara?
if he gets pissy, we can call him that. Sure, why not?
Hey, princess, that's your tiara. Yeah, I asked him what TR stands for.
He wouldn't tell
He wouldn't tell me. He says, it's my first name and my middle name. I'm like, well, what are those? And he just smiled. We're going to find out.
We are be in the know. And then if you know, you know.
Do you think it's something like really strange and funny, or is it just, I don't know. I mean, I can't fathom not like wanting to tell somebody your name.
I know it, and I'm not going to say anything, so.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I just am not in the, I'm not in the club yet.
Or you just haven't gotten mail from him, so.
Oh, I have, but I guess I can look that up. I just thought it said TR.
You can get partial. You won't get the whole thing. You'll get partial.
I'm onto you, sir. I will know your secrets.
Yeah, so what is this going to be, another segment on a show? Let's see if we can get TR to tell us his name. Here, drink these 9 beers. Now tell us, TR.
Indeed. All right. I guess that is it for now. We will talk to you for Opeth. See you.
All right. Later.
All right. That was our Gojira coverage. Moving on, we come to the coverage of the first of 2 Opeth shows.
Hello, this is Buke, the Opeth fan, for the start of the Opeth weekend on the Metalheads podcast. And I'm joined by my partners,
George.
John.
Hi, my name is Will.
Hello, Will.
And someone else not to be named.
Yeah, and someone else not to be named sitting on the curb like a bum right now. And
somebody who's whistling.
a very nice girl in stockings.
By the way, every time we do a podcast after the Fillmore show, and
we're doing the podcast and some guy's taking a piss like he has no cares in the world.
there's always
Your world, buddy. Your world.
literally every time every time. The two times we've done this, there's always somebody in the background taking a piss on the wall.
Yeah. So, people have no respect for stuff, and it's the world that we live in here.
Well, there's nowhere to pee here either.
You know what? You hold it like a big boy. So
He's been over there for a while. He may actually be masturbating.
You know what's interesting is that they do have bathrooms on the bottom level and the top level of the venue. So, just, a thought.
just a thought. Or there's various restaurants or gas stations that have bathrooms, but this guy wants to be a jackass. So, yes, here we are. This is the start of the Opeth weekend, and we're here at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, where Opeth just played a amazing, in my opinion, second night of their tour with The Sword. The reason for this podcast that you're going to be hearing is John and I and TR. Thank you. I drew a blank. I was going to say T.I. or something, like the rapper. I only know that just because I heard the name in the news before. But tomorrow, John and I and TR wake up early to head up to New York to see them at the
Radio City Music Hall.
I was going to draw a blank on that again.
Let me know if you need me to talk for you.
But before we get to that, let's get our impressions on tonight's show. And I'll first go to my brother in Opeth. John, what do you think?
I thought it was actually a pretty good show for the second night of the tour. They had a few iffy spots here and there, but I think it's just par for the course when you're starting a new tour, getting used to things. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. The sound was pretty good. Mike's voice was, for the most part, pretty good. He has a few spots where he couldn't hit the high notes, but that's, he's an old man like us now. So he's in his 40s. But overall, I thought they were good. I enjoyed it. And they played a song from just about every single album except for 2 albums, so you can't beat that. So,
Well,
This is I'm a Opeth. I just broke my Opeth cherry, so this is my first Opeth show ever. And considering 2 of my closest friends, John and Buke, are rabid, over the top, ridiculous, kind of like they should have some mental health issues checked out, Opeth fans. I enjoyed it. I wish they would have played a lot more of the old stuff. I wanted to hear some more growling, being the death metal fan that I am. However, what I will say is that I thought the Fillmore tonight, the sound did a great job. The sound was great tonight, and so we were all the old people up in the rafters. We're on the balcony on the left hand side. We actually pay extra money and sit up there. But the sound was great. That's the first time I've ever been up there to see a show. So I don't know if I should always pay that much more money, an extra $20 to go have a seat, even though I stood the whole time.
Well, we got ripped off on that $20 tonight because Gojira was $15.
Wow. Hey, Gojira ain't Opeth, right, guys? Right?
You could say that again.
Yeah, they're not nearly as good as Gojira.
You could say that again. Fuck yes.
Sorry, I was a tongue-in-cheek comment. Gojira's way better than Opeth. Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe Gojira will sell out next time they play here like Opeth did.
Yeah, maybe Opeth will put out a good album again.
It's okay.
Oh!
That's okay. So we're going to see Gojira tomorrow night at Radio City, right? Yeah.
So maybe we'll just put this down to 3 people now the rest of the night here. If you're gonna come on, you got to be nice.
No. I mean, no, I am. So, as you guys know, there was a couple times where I came up to both Buke and John, and I put my arms around you. I'm like,
and me too.
Yeah. Well, I put my hands on your ass, but it was finally cool to see Opeth with 2 of the biggest Opeth fans that I know. And in fact, the first time I met John ever when I was at my old brewery is I walked up to him because he's wearing an Opeth shirt, and I'm like, "Hey, do you like metal?" And he's like, yeah.
My shirt, you idiot.
Yeah. But, you never know. Like, maybe he bought it at a fucking Salvation Army or garage sale. But yeah. So it was fun to see Opeth with my buds, and I will say the Sword.
I was wondering when they were going to come up.
God damn it! Everyone I talked to said the same thing. The Sword it was boring. They played a lot of the new music. It was like a Texas country musical festival. They started out with Three Witches, which I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome, and just played a whole bunch of stuff from the new album. And I don't know one person that I talked to tonight who was happy with the Swords playlist.
I think there was only 2, maybe 3 songs were pre-last album, maybe.
I only recognized 2, and it was a bit disappointing.
The other vibe that I got was a Ram Jam vibe.
I sat down through the whole set, and I mean, I listened a little, but it just, I mean, I don't really like them, I didn't like them when they came out. I liked them a little bit in the middle, and then now I really don't like them again, so I couldn't care less. Opeth, though, was good. Every time I've seen Opeth, they've always put on a good show, and tonight was no exception. I was thinking about the fact how Buke and John are so into Opeth, and I'm like, why am I not so into Opeth?
That's a good question.
I like Opeth. I have nothing against Opeth. I've got all their albums. I listen to them.
I'm with you. I'm the same way.
And I think it's because I don't make any kind of emotional connection with their lyrics. Their lyrics, take them or leave them, they don't mean anything to me. Not to say they're bad, I just don't make a connection with them. Whereas any other band that I'm crazy about, I have a connection with the lyrics. So
I know I could speak for myself. I am such a big fan of them because of somebody who doesn't play an instrument or sing. The talent that they display, songwriting, their musicianship shines through.
Yeah, and that's what I like about them when I listen to them.
And I think they do it so well that it blows me away, somebody who doesn't play, that I'm like, wow. So that's why I think I latched on to them.
Sure, that makes sense.
And
I'm not knocking it down or anything. It was just sort of an epiphany I had while watching them. I'm like, they're really good, but it's like,
But I had an epiphany why I latched on to them, because I discovered them right when Deliverance came out, and as somebody who was into metal but getting into death metal at the time, just like Will said today, Mike does the best death vocals in the business. They're the easiest, I think, to understand, hands down, clear, can rattle them off, and you can make out the lyrics that he's saying. And the other band just sounds like the guy may be coughing or choking on something. So I think that's why, because I was easily right able to jump into and understand the lyrics clean and harsh.
Makes sense. What about you, John? What kind of connection do you have with the band?
I just like them.
Just like them.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just like everything about them. Go ahead.
Well, I'd just say there's plenty of bands that I don't have a connection with that I like. I freaking buy millions of fucking albums, and I don't make that kind of connection with all of them. I still like them.
You know what's weird is, so I never really listened to Opeth ever until I met John and Buke. And so I have to say, this is going to sound weird, but I felt like it was so overhyped that when I listened to it, I'm like, oh, they're good.
Yeah.
But I don't have that connection. But it's not my wheelhouse. It's not my genre.
Well, yeah. So when you say it's overhyped, I think you went in expecting it was going to fail. I really do, because you're always making jokes like, "Oh, Acker Fart, their last album sucks."
You can't see it, but the gloves just came off.
John hates me so much right now. I know.
Wah. Here's
the
the
thing.
same Cannibal Corpse album for the last 25 years.
No, but they're all so good.
Might as well just buy one. They all sound the same.
I know. And you can buy 20 of them, and they all sound good.
Yeah, but there has to be something there, John. Why I've seen Opeth now 20 times or so. This is probably 21 or 22. You've probably double, triple that.
58.
Yeah, there has to be a reason why we're seeing them more than any other band.
Because they come around more than any other band?
There are...
Just fucking with you.
Right, John could have seen, he could have traveled and been on, the Overkill circuit.
Oh, well. Now, there's a band that probably comes around a lot, because they keep putting out the same album.
I love Overkill.
Yeah, okay, why haven't you seen Overkill 20 times? Why is John traveling across the world following Opeth?
Because he's more metal than me. Totally.
I'll tell you exactly why. He has more money than all of us, and he has no kids.
Yeah.
That's why.
I'm completely...
I don't have more money.
I'm completely obsessed with metal. You could probably, confirm that. Yet there is no band that I have ever traveled to see. No band I've ever seen more than once on a tour. I'm just not as committed to something like that. And I both respect and am a little bit in awe of somebody that can do that.
I don't have any reason I can tell you why I like them. I'm just not bored by them. I can listen to any album at any time and like everything. I may not be a super fan of the last few ones, just because I don't think they're as good as the previous stuff, but it would be too complicated for me to explain it, because I don't know if I really understand it. It's a band I gravitate to. The early stuff, I like the sheer power. I think Mike's vocals are great when he does the clean stuff. I love his growling. I've liked all the musicians, and truth be told, I sort of know them. So maybe that's why I follow them around as much as I do.
The one thing I was impressed with tonight is I kind of thought that Michael Ackerfeld just occasionally played the guitar. No, he played the guitar the entire night. And this is something that I didn't know. And that seriously impressed me. And I do like, he does, as Buke said, which I said earlier, is that it's getting some cougar bush in my nose. That
it always devolves.
Every single time. You got to talk about the cougar bush. If anybody listens to the podcast, you know what we're talking about. But he does have probably the premier best death metal voice ever. And I get and that's the thing, what drives me nuts is he doesn't want to do that anymore. I'm like, it's like if Jimmy, if
he can.
Well, if it's almost like if Jimi Hendrix just said, you know what, I'm gonna play the saxophone now. I'm gonna put down the guitar. I'm gonna play the saxophone. It's as if Beethoven said, you know what, I'm just gonna play the fallopian tuba.
But
I'm not gonna play the piano.
But what if Jimi Hendrix? But I think that the reason would be, what if Jimi Hendrix was forced to play the sax because of debilitating carpal tunnel? I think maybe that's where we're at with Mike can do small.
Let me ask you this: how many death vocals do you know in their 40s? that actually sound good. I mean, honestly, there's not many.
Corpse Grinder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you ever heard of? I don't know.
That's one.
Well,
Even the guy from Gojira is cut back on his death vocals.
Yeah.
And he's gone more to kind of a Paradise Lost death vocals, which is kind of like a singing death almost. So I just don't know anyone that reaches that stage of their life that actually is doing that. There's a few, but not many.
So, I've got a question. Pretty much every time I see Opeth, people are always screaming out songs for him to play. And, I go to a lot of shows, and I do not see that regularly anywhere else. But every time I see Opeth, people are always shouting shit at Michael. Play fucking Godhead's Lament, whatever, And I always feel bad for the guy because, like when we saw them on the, was that an Evening with Opeth when they were doing the acoustic stuff and all that, it kind of pissed him off, you could tell. But tonight he seemed to be humoring everybody. He was listening and, and he'd play little bits and pieces from some songs. So, do you know why he gets that so much?
I don't know if he gets pissed. I think he kind of just wants to get the show going along. Maybe he gets tired of hearing Freebird, but I don't know. Every show I've been to, it's always screaming for songs. Every single show. And it's always the same song for the most part. It's Black Rose Immortal. Everybody wants to hear that because I think they played it once total. Nobody knows where they played it. So
I think it's because if you look at his personality on stage, he or the band will play a song, maybe 2 songs in a row after the opening, 2 or 3, and he talks a lot on stage. So if you're one of those bands opposite of like a Megadeth who just plays, I think he opens up the floor, I guess, to comments.
So basically he was asking for it.
In a sense, almost inadvertently, because since he's just sitting there cracking jokes and saying different things like that, the fans are going to say things too.
Yeah, I have to say that I did enjoy that aspect of it because I do not like the bands. I distinctly remember Mastodon doing this, who just get up there, they play, they don't say shit, and then just walk off stage. Like, like
the Sword?
Yeah, actually. The Sword, like, they may have said, like, a sentence, like, halfway through and said, like, oh, by the way, we're the Sword. And that was it.
Good night.
I distinctly remember Mastodon was at
they're bad.
They just literally came up, they played, and they walked off. I don't think they said a fucking word. So I do like that interaction, and the other person who's really good at it is
Phil Anselmo, the greatest frontman in metal.
Well, I think Michael Ackerfeld is better. However,
you hear him wanting to say Ackerfart, and he catches himself.
I'm restraining myself.
You think for one night he would just not say it?
I didn't. I said Ackerfeld.
I got so much to say, and tomorrow I can't wait to really get with TR and John and really dive into some more Opeth talk. But I think the reason why you're hearing a lot of things shouted is this recent years as the band's evolved from 2008 to where they're at now over these last 8 years. Fans are still holding out hope that they're going to go back to those, I think. So they just say them just out of like a battle cry or something. Like,
I think it's more than that.
I have a theory that, the album touring cycle after this 2 albums from now, no more growling. They'll have 5 clean albums under their belt by then. He'll pull a U2 and say, not playing anything earlier than this. And I bet you that will happen.
But they played songs from every single album except for the first 2 tonight. He's still going to play songs from every album.
Yeah, well, they have to. They've only got a couple albums yet. They're weaning people off. By 5 albums, people are going to be used to it.
They didn't play Orchid.
They didn't play Morning Rise. That's it.
What did they play off of My Arms, Your Hearse?
Even in the fall.
You're right. I can't believe you asked that. Yeah. No, I just drew a blank for a second. Yeah, but
I think it's more than that. They didn't do their first actual full tour till Blackwater Park. So that was their 5th album. So, and I've been going since January 2002, 3, whatever, since the Deliverance tour started. So you got 5 albums in your belt. You've hardly done any tours in the U.S. So people are screaming for songs from albums that they've never even seen played live. So I think it's just carried over. It's become.
I always yell Godhead because I've seen them play it once or twice, maybe.
So you think my theory is bullshit?
maybe. I mean, it depends on how physically he can do the growling. He sounded good on most of the songs, I actually thought, tonight. He missed the spot on Deliverance, but I think he actually forgot the lyric. So, and that happens. It's early in the tour. So.
What I noticed that when he did the growling, it's almost as if I don't think they physically turned the mic down. I don't know if he just wasn't getting close enough, but it wasn't as...
He pulls away.
Yeah, I think he was like standing back from the microphone a little bit, was the biggest thing I noticed.
Yeah, they're a touring machine. They've toured so many places, and I'm just wondering if he's just getting tired. And I don't know if you guys heard what he said recently. He felt liberated that he's not doing the growling on albums anymore.
Yeah.
I just think he's changing. It's all it is. So I don't know if they'll get rid of all the growling in the future, but you may get maybe only 1 or 2 songs in a show instead of 5 or 6. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. The one thing I do notice about seeing Opeth live, and I've seen it the last couple of times, is they play their songs. I watch a lot of videos of Opeth too. They play their songs faster live.
A lot of bands do that.
Yeah, they sped up the time of numerous songs tonight.
All right.
So my final word is, I know I'm giving you guys a lot of shit because this is my first time seeing Opeth, and I'm not the Opeth fan. I've not seen them 58 times. This is my first time. I do enjoy the death metals, but I will say this: they sounded great. Like both the Sword, even though I was disappointed with the Sword,
yeah, sound really good live. They really, and they're tight as hell.
Yeah.
Just bored.
I felt like they both sounded tight. I give props to the sound guy at the Fillmore, which usually has some shitty sound.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if it was where we were sitting up in the balcony, but it sounded great. They put on a great show. I did like the fact that Michael, the lead singer, Acker something, he did engage the fans. Like, it was, I like that.
He was tame tonight. He actually was pretty mellow. I've seen him go off, and he's really funny usually, but tonight he was pretty laid back. So,
and one thing I did notice, when he speaks English, he has a very British accent, which I know is common because if you're a European and you're going to learn English, well, what's the European English country? England. So they will get tutors or whatever, and they will learn a British accent.
I think they all learned. They were bilingual in school, all of them.
Yeah.
So maybe minus Mendez, who came over speaking just fluent Spanish. That was it.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's Norwegian, and his English is very British.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that.
All right, are we just about done? Because I got one last thing before we go.
Just get ready for more content from John, TR, and myself as we record.
All right. So before the show tonight, we were at dinner when we got some rather distressing news.
Yes.
It came to our attention that Whit from Yesterday's Saints passed away yesterday, or this morning. We're not quite sure.
It was last night.
Last night. And
so that would have been September 29th.
And I got to say, I don't know, it was like a ton of bricks. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I didn't really know him. I met him a couple of times. We talked to him once on the show.
He came in studio to your house.
No, he didn't. That was Albert and
John.
And John, yeah.
Oh, JB, okay.
Yeah, but we talked to Whit up at the brewery with you, and of course Matt, and we just want to give our best to the band and Whit's family. And what do you say in a time like this? I mean, it's fucked up, is what it is, and so.
I mean, the one thing I could say about Whit is, if you ever listen to a Yesterday Saints album, especially the new one, he is a phenomenal guitar player, and that was a 7-string guitar. Like, that guy was a master.
I would always say he was our local Jeff Loomis.
So, I mean, I probably knew him a little bit better than you guys, but I will never say that I knew him. I mean, we interviewed them. I made beer for them. Went to a lot of their shows. So I knew Whit. I didn't know him well as, like, a lot of his closest friends, but it sucked. Like, literally on the way to the show tonight, I got word that he died, and I was doing the absolute wrong thing you should do, which is I was texting and driving, trying to get a hold of Matt, the lead singer, yesterday, Saints. I'm like, is this true? Like, did he really? And he's like, yeah, it's fucking true. And so it fucking sucks. Yeah, just it fucking sucks.
Yeah. So he will be missed. All right. We're going to call it a night now. You'll hear from Buke and John and TR tomorrow.
I say we give him a moment of silence here on the pod. The next time he hears us, we'll be on the road going to New York City.
Okay, that was our coverage of the Opeth show from the Fillmore in Silver Spring, Maryland. Next up is the coverage from Buke, John, and TR's trip up to New York City for the Opeth show at Radio City Music Hall.
Hello! Day 2 of Opeth Pandemonium, Opeth Fest. Opeth is on. Myself, John, and TR were on our way to New York City to see Opeth at Radio City Music Hall. They're going to be playing a special set, playing Deliverance and Damnation in their entirety, and probably a smattering of other songs along the way. You heard our impressions, John and I, on Opeth last night at the Fillmore. TR, first off, hello, and how are you? Sorry, what are your thoughts on Opeth last night, buddy?
Hey, Buke. I enjoyed the show, and I thought it was an excellent performance. I felt like we got to hear a lot of songs throughout the career, which was nice. They were songs that I guess if you've been to a bunch of Opeth shows that you pretty much heard before. There were, I guess, hopefully I'm not retreading a whole lot of stuff that you guys covered. But bottom line is, I enjoyed the songs that they played. Of course, Demon of the Fall and some of the older stuff like that, which was nice. But again, like I say, if you've been to their shows, there weren't any real surprises, I guess, other than I think In My Time of Need, which was off of Damnation, is something that they haven't tended to play a whole lot, so that was kind of cool to hear that. I don't know if you guys covered the thing that they've been doing over the past year or so, where Mike kind of takes requests from the audience for a little kind of, I don't know what they do. It's just, some of that's kind of fun and kind of, interesting, because you never know what people are going to yell out, and what, he kind of noodles around to try to maybe play a couple of bars from some song that, they haven't probably either ever played or that they haven't played in years. And all it serves to do most of the time is just kind of tease you and make you think about, like, well, how cool would that be? And, oh yeah, they'll never do that. So that kind of stuff, while kind of interesting for a little bit, can kind of be a little annoying to a certain degree, but it's still fun. I still love the band. I still love Mike and the way he just does his thing, and it's it's a little less comedic than it used to be, but he's still a funny guy, and I enjoyed the whole show. I felt like, it seemed like what they did was it was like new stuff, old stuff, new stuff, old stuff, just to keep it interesting. And, something John mentioned earlier was, here's a band that I think I guess you could say, they've been evolving for a long time, and over the last 3 albums or so, they've kind of arrived at this, they're a prog band pretty much, in my opinion. And so, but that being said, they fall back with ease into the metal stuff pretty nicely. And when they play, everything kind of in the set list that they had, to me, it flowed very well, and it didn't really seem to be like, oh, this is new, and it's in stark contrast to something that's old. I mean, some of it, yeah. I mean, the older stuff is definitely heavier, or like more metal, but the new stuff I thought stood up very well next to it, and I thought it worked well. And that's in contrast to the band that opened, The Sword, who really didn't play a whole lot of old stuff, and I almost feel like if they did, it wouldn't even fit in with what they're doing now. I love The Sword. I kind of have become disappointed in the direction that they've been taking. I mean, I know this is unsolicited at this point. You asked me about Opeth, but I'm kind of going on a tangent.
On the whole show.
But I kind of feel like this show was interesting because you've got two bands that started out very differently than they've ended up right now. The Sword started out as a real heavy, Sabbathy kind of, metal band, and then Opeth, who started out like with this real death metal thing that, is still there, but they're a prog band now, and so you've got these two bands that really kind of have changed significantly over their careers. The difference to me is Opeth was able to seamlessly play stuff from their whole career, and it all worked. And the Sword kind of just stuck to their new material, and I think they've either become bored with their old stuff or they just don't want to play it anymore. Because like I said, I think if they did play something from like the first or second albums, it would kind of sound out of place with what they're doing now, because it just I don't know. I don't think it would be as seamless as it was for Opeth to go back and forth between the older material and the newer material.
Okay. I also think The Sword not having as, I guess, storied of a career like Opeth has, I think they can't really rest on their laurels as much, and I think they have to really keep pumping something new out. I think they have to promote their new stuff a little more than what Opeth can do, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I guess I think I read an interview with them and of The Sword, that is, and kind of they were addressing fans that have basically said, well, what about where's the heavy stuff, man? What's going on? And they basically said, look, we pretty much kind of tapped out of that. We got as heavy as we could get, and it's like, at a certain point, you just can't do anything that's any heavier, I guess. And I understand that, and I understand that bands have to evolve, and I do kind of like some of the stuff that they're doing. I just feel like, I feel like they kind of abandoned it too soon, or they could have kept a little more of that sound, and still have what they're doing now, but still incorporate some of the heavy stuff with it. And I think they just kind of they've been distancing themselves from that, and you kind of hear this. I get it, they're a Texas band, early ZZ Top. You hear a lot of that in their music, and they're kind of gravitating toward that kind of style, and that Thin Lizzy kind of ZZ Top style of which is Texas boogie thing, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that, when you start off with like incredibly chunky, heavy riffs that just crush your skull, and you're really good at it, it seems like, why would you just walk away from that when you could easily use that, and fans would love that. But I get it too. It's like you get to a certain point and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. And as an artist, sometimes you have to, you want to grow or you want to change. And so I get it, but it's...
it seems like they got to that point pretty quick, though.
Well, yeah, because really, by the third or fourth album, they were kind of pulling away from that. So, and now, I mean, they just released this acoustic version of their new album, which, I don't know. I'm not sure, like, okay, you're stripping it down, but it's like, it seems like it's like, okay, now we're going to dilute this even more. I don't know. I'm not sure I get that. And I think it's kind of unfortunate because they were a great band, and they played well. I mean, don't get me wrong, the live performance of The Sword was great.
I can agree with that.
They sounded very good. I liked they had cool gear. JD was playing a Firebird guitar, which I hadn't seen him play. It was very cool to see. I've kind of watched them through the years. They've always been like mainly Gibson guys with Les Pauls and Explorers and that kind of stuff. And this time he pulled out a nice Firebird, which was pretty cool. And I can't remember the bass player's name, but he was playing a Rickenbacker, which was cool to see. So, it's the sound and of course Kyle Schutt, who's an incredible guitarist, just awesome solos and just killing it all night. Great performance, but I just, I would love to hear them kind of go back to a kind of a heavier sound.
It's weird to get to that almost T in the road where it's like, hey, we're doing old school, Sabbath type of stuff, and it's like, yeah, we can't really take that anymore, so we'll make the right turn away from that, and we'll go to that early ZZ Top sound, which is really weird. When they were playing that last night, I know I had heard, from you guys, the new stuff's not that good, and I hope they don't play a lot of it. And last night I could see why, people would have those feelings. But just like, to back up what you said here, they sounded awesome. So they were solid. The whole time they were on. Didn't seem like they missed a beat. So, changing gears, John, you kind of left me last night. George put you on the spot when he asked us, my Opeth brother, we are the Opeth fans. What's Opeth mean to you? And you're like, I just like them. Yeah. I'm sitting there hearing to myself, John, you guys say it more than that. I just like them. So please, you said today you thought about more going home last night, and after a night's rest and no traffic today.
And less pain in your toe.
Yeah. So just to kind of recap it last night, when George stuck the bush in my face, it just kind of caught me off guard because I was hungry. I hadn't drank any water the whole night, so I was thirsty. Will had just decided to do an impromptu Opeth pit in the elevator, and he's got a boot on right now for his foot because he's got an injured foot, and he stepped on my toe. So I was just a little grumpy. And he asked me, well, what do you like about Opeth? That's like a fucking 9-day explanation for me. So thanks for doing that, George. You really put me on the spot. Unbelievable. So I don't know. I mean, I thought about this, and it's hard for me to explain, but I think maybe the easiest way to explain it is that this is one of the few bands that I've connected with on all levels that no matter what they do, I'm going to like it. I may like some more than the others, but if you want to ask me what an actual physical thing about that they do, and TR, I think you mentioned this earlier, I like that they can go from being aggressive, their own version of progressive death metal, to stripping it all the way down to an organic, acoustic song, and it all fits and flows well together. And I think that's part of what I like. I think that what drew me to them is Mike's vocals. I think you brought that up last night, Buke. That when Mike was in his prime, I mean, his death vocals were some of the best vocals you could hear, and then his clean vocals are amazing. So I think I got drawn by that. I just like the juxtaposition of being able to go back and forth. If I'm using that word, I don't even know if I'm using that word correctly because I'm still tired from last night. So
we're not gonna get Cranky John though, right?
If I don't eat, TR, tell him what happens when I don't eat.
You don't want to anger the bear.
Because the bear gets angry. No, so it was just, it was a long day yesterday.
Yeah.
But I like that they add jazz elements to their sound and some of the earlier music, like on Still Life. And plus, they had just amazing killer riffs on Blackwater Park. But like you said, the reason why you like Ghost Reveries from start to finish, it's a great album. It's a diverse album. So I like the diversity in the music. I know some fans don't like that they've gone almost full prog, and I understand that. And I miss the metal sound, but they're evolving. That's what they do. Every band we're talking about all the time has evolved into something different. So, but my answer is a long answer. It's better than last night because I like them.
I'm going to add something on. I also like them as much as I do because when I got into metal, as I've said numerous times, Pantera reinventing the steel was my gateway album. I know I'm a late bloomer. I was 18 or 19 when that album came out, maybe 17. So a little late bloomer into metal. But Pantera, that was their last album. They already had a name and a rep about them. I discovered Opeth right on the launch day or right after Deliverance came out. And at that time, the Opeth was, I know, the critical acclaim of Blackwater Park had already been out there. But Opeth was still a small club band. I saw and I have seen Opeth rise to the point where they were having top 20 Billboard albums. Ghost Reveries debuted in his first weekend, sold like 58 or 60,000 copies. It's cool to be a part of something that I guess grew with me. I know they were around since 95 or 96, but Opeth has kind of been mine. I got into them 10 years after they started, or so, back in 03. I'm sorry, but they've kind of been mine. So that's why I also gravitate towards them as much as I do.
Another thing about them, and I'm sure you guys would probably agree, with My Arms You Hearse when that came out, they kind of honed in on a sound that nobody else was doing at all. Kind of like, I'm sure TR remembers this like I do, but the first time you heard Van Halen, and this is the band I always use because nobody did what they did at that time. And it spurred on a gazillion bands after that. Or the first time you heard Catatonia is a good example of a modern band. Nobody does what Catatonia does. People try and they can't do it. They have their own distinct sound. So I think that's why I gravitated to them. They have just a unique sound. Mike has a unique way of playing. Even though he's got all the Camel-esque type solos, because he's a big Camel fan, their riffing is, nobody else riffs like them. They just have a different way of doing it. I'm not saying they're better than anyone else. It's more of a unique style. So I think that also drew me in, that they were just different than everybody else, for me at the time.
What also, do you think, because I'm racking my brains right now trying to think of other bands where people, take out the Iron Maiden, take out maybe the Priest or something, but I can't think of any other metal band where large numbers of people travel all over following a metal band like this, seeing them on numerous dates on the tour, going all over the world to see them. I'm sure there's other bands like that.
Maybe Tool has a following like that, but Tool plays really big places though. So that could be kind of costly, I would think, after a while to see someone like that.
But what is it so polarizing with Opeth that so many people are following them? You think it's the same reasons that we just said?
Maybe. I think one of the things that, and this kind of gets to what John was saying about the unique sound. I think it's because of a diversity of what I think are the influences of this band and what comes out the other end, which, you've got the 70s, you've got this hard rock thing that clearly Michael's a fan. Like last night he mentioned, real metal is old Scorpions and Judas Priest, so to him that's metal, right? So he takes these, and then like you said, Camel and all these like 70s prog bands that are just like kind of chill, right? So you've got a kind of a confluence of 70s progressive bands, hard rock bands like Scorpions and Priest, and I mean, he played the first part of Heading Out to the Highway last night. That was so cool.
Just to interject too, and don't forget, he was a big fan of like Dark Throne type bands.
Right, I'll get into that.
Okay.
So here's the other part of it, right? So 70s prog, then the hard rock metal early stuff, but then you've got like this folk metal stuff, you've got this death metal stuff, and it's all coming together. You know, it's not all just bash it, right? It's like intricate guitar pieces and amazing arpeggiated things that come out that are just beautiful. And like you said, you know, there's the brutality and then there's the beauty, right? And they combined all of that and in a way that nobody else does, and in a way that I think is a superior hybrid of all of that, to be able to say, okay, you know, I've just processed all these different, you know, inputs, and here's what came out. And like you said, John, there's nobody else doing that. There are other bands that, like you said, after they came out, everybody kind of seized upon it, and some, you know, have some success in kind of maybe accentuating parts of that formula, but they can't do it all. And Opeth is always going to be better because they're able to. They can't help it. That's Mike's background. That's all his influences. And they, you know, you all know that he's a big record collector. He's listened to numerous bands. I think he like absorbs all that, and it all kind of rattles around in there and comes out in the way that you see. And so I think that that's another reason that people like them and that people are drawn to them, because they are unique. They put things together that others really haven't done in a similar way, and I think that kind of really that talks to people in a certain way that instills a great deal of loyalty and devotion.
And I know for me personally why I've seen them so many times is the amazement that I have listening to them is just multiplied when you're seeing them live pulling it off. It's like, you know, the solo, like that solo midway through Drapery Falls, where that it sounds a million times better live, because it's blowing your mind right in front of you. Yeah, it's one thing this is a crazy example, but it's one thing to probably see a truck jump a ramp on TV, but if you see that same truck jump a ramp in a gorge live and in person, it's going to blow you away. And I think that's why I keep seeing Opeth every time, because I'm in awe watching them do it every single time.
Yeah, I think Will was asking, he's like, why would you go see a band as many times? Because he kept mentioning how many times I've seen Opeth. And it's more the experience of going, it's equally as good to me as it is listening to the music. I mean, TR and I have been to a bunch of shows. My friend Lisa and I have been to a ton of shows. You know, she used to go with me early on, and I think it just became more of an experience. Everywhere you went, you were meeting people who this was their favorite band, as opposed to people just going to see them. You know, Gojira was like that the other night too. I mean, everyone there seemed like that was one of their favorite bands. So the crowd, and it's the experience of, you know, listening to the fans scream out every song in their catalog they want to hear. Mike's like, well, we have a set list, you know, I'm not just going to change it for you, you know, and the banter back and forth, it's the whole package. Now, yeah, they play a lot of the same songs every tour. They might mix the set up a little bit in terms of order, or drop a song, add a song. So some people might understand why I want to go like 5 times on a tour, but every night's a different night. Something happens differently, and it's just how when it's your favorite band, I guess you want to do that. I don't know, but you're right. It seems like they have a lot of people who want to tour, who want to follow them, who do multiple dates, who travel to see them. So
now they have, in the last year, 2 years, they have been doing these. You know, they release like a teaser picture online in some locale somewhere, teasing like Australia or England, or, you know, they teased the New York one, and that's, you know, what's bringing us up here tonight. Do these shows really stand out as something special? Because you guys were at the one in London. Do these shows really stand out from like a last night? Not taking anything away from that.
Oh, go ahead, let Terry.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think the Now, the London show turned into a little more of a tour because they ended up doing a number of shows. Originally, I think the idea was they were just going to do kind of a one-off, but they I guess it eventually turned into a tour. I guess when they saw that they could maybe do a few more shows over there.
10 or 12 dates total for the world or something like that for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't any less special, but it wasn't the one-off show that we initially thought it was going to be when they teased it on the website, and of course we leapt at it, and it was great. I mean, it was an excellent show. It was in a very nice venue, and you know, to get all of Ghost Reveries and the other songs that they played through from the rest of their career was great. And so and tonight's show I'm really looking forward to. I think it will stand as a very special show because you know, correct me if I'm wrong, John, I don't know that there's certain songs that I don't think we've ever heard them play off of these two albums. Maybe.
I think
Looking at Deliverance, I was looking at earlier. I think, guys, we have seen them play all of Damnation. Didn't they do it on the tour? They played all of Damnation on the tour when that came out. But if you look at Deliverance, they've...
I've seen like Wreath. I've seen Master's Apprentices.
of course,
Deliverance, of course.
I've never seen them play By the Pain. I see in others, and for Absent Friends, I've never seen.
Yeah, I've never seen them play for Absent Friends and By the Pain.
They did Fair Judgment a couple of years ago, I think. But yeah, I think just to and to get it in the context of an album, you know, in other words, just like I'm assuming they're going to play it straight through.
They have to. There's no.
So even that, I think, is going to be kind of a cool thing, and it was for Ghost Reveries when they did that. I enjoyed, because you know the anticipation builds. You know, you're really, you know what's coming next, and you're looking forward to hearing that. And so yeah, I would say like these standalone shows are nice. It's great for the fans because they get to see something different, and you know, you can kind of make those plans like we did for this New York show. And for us, it's not too bad because, you know, anywhere on the East Coast you can kind of get there if, you know, we're driving today and we're still driving. But you know, it's I think it's kind of nice, and also, I mean, for them, I don't know if it's sold out. But
sold out, yeah.
That's a statement, because for Opeth to sell out Radio City Music Hall is a big deal. And you know, John, when we saw Porcupine Tree, I don't think they sold out.
They had, I think, a few seats at the very top, and now I don't know what their sellout means tonight. I know the place holds 6,600. I don't know if they cap it, depending on who the band is, and maybe they don't open the upper tier. I don't know. We'll find out when we get there tonight. If it's completely sold out, meaning every seat. Like, you know, if you go like to Rams Head, if you're from the East Coast here, you go to Rams Head, if a band's not going to draw much, they'll shut the upstairs down and they'll just keep everyone on the bottom level, and they'll say, oh yeah, we sold 800 tickets or whatever, and to them it's a sellout, I guess. I don't know how they determine that. But
now, do we expect them to Sword to finish the intro to kick in and they go right into Wreath?
I have no idea how they're going to do it tonight. I don't know what album's going to come first or what they're going to do.
The only time I've ever seen a band play an album start to finish is when Priest played British Steel start to finish. And they came out and they played the first 2 or 3 songs. And then, Rob said, this is the album we're playing for you tonight.
Yeah, so you were asking about the special Opus shows, and I think I've seen 5 of them they've done here. I went to the Evolution one in Chicago, which was their 15th anniversary. I don't know. They played songs from their whole career from the beginning to the end. They went in chronological order. And then they did the Blackwater Park celebration, which they played all of Blackwater Park, and then they did a second set of songs. So I've seen that. So you're asking about, yeah, it's interesting. And we saw the Ghost Reveries all the way through. I've seen a few bands do that. I think Opeth's albums are so long they have to literally just start with that album for the first half of the show, and they take a break. So I'm expecting there's going to be a break at some point tonight, where they walk off stage for a little bit and then come back. So
that's what I'm thinking too. I am having a blast with you guys. I know when we get settled in, get some food, get some drinks, we'll have, the night and the fun will really ramp up. But I am really excited to see this venue. I'm really excited to see my favorite band again. It should be really fun.
Let me ask you this: since this is a different type of show. Give me like 2 songs or 3 or whatever you want to do. What do you really want to hear tonight? Even though you know what they're going to play for most of the show, what are the songs that you're looking forward to the most tonight to hear?
Myself, I would first say, I always say it, Godhead's Lament would be my number 1.
Be nice, but I don't think we'll get it tonight. But I hope.
I know that was a waste. Oh, did you want me to mention songs that we heard last night that we may hear tonight, or just in general?
No, just like because they're doing Deliverance and Damnation.
Oh, the songs off those albums. Okay, I'm sorry. Wreath and For Absent Friends would be pretty awesome.
Fair Judgment is what I'm looking forward to the most. Sorry, my phone is...
A Fair Judgment. Yeah, change my number 2.
Whatever that song was.
Yeah. That 8-bit ringtone.
Yeah.
That's my highlight.
What you can't see on the podcast is my ancient phone that everybody gives me a hard time about. It's on my actual account online. When I get online to look at my account, it has a picture of my phone, and underneath of it, it no longer says the model anymore. It says Legacy. So that tells you that it's pretty old.
Yeah. Just wait. The next thing you see on there is going to be retired.
And to check his phone bill, he actually has to connect to AOL via dial-up.
I do have DSL. Okay. I've graduated to that. And of course, anything they play off of Damnation, I'm going to enjoy. But it's always nice to hear some of the songs that they don't always play. So something like ending credits and that kind of thing will be really cool.
I wish I didn't have ADD where my mind is always a frickin' mush. Because I came here earlier saying ending credits would I'm excited for, and TR, you just...
Well, no, you already said it.
Yeah. I'm an idiot. John?
So, yeah, A Fair Judgment. I've seen that a bunch of times, but that's one of my probably favorite songs by Opeth. But a song they haven't played in a long time, at least I can't remember the last time I saw it outside of 2003, would be Death Whispered a Lullaby, which would be really cool, which is the song Mike co-wrote with Steven Wilson from Porcupine Tree. So I don't know why he doesn't do that song. I always thought it was a great song, but it'd be interesting to see that again tonight.
I thought you were going to say To Rid the Disease.
Of course, I want to see that. But that one I've seen a lot outside of Windowpane, which they seem to play the most from that album. But I'm thinking of songs we haven't seen in a while. Obviously, By the Pain I See in Others, I want to see just because I've never played it. So, and after that, it's a smorgasbord. If you're not going to play Black Rose Immortal, then, okay, cool. I've seen everything else.
BRI or GTFO, right? Yeah. So, gentlemen, I'm really excited to, be under the big lights downtown. It's going to be my second time in my life ever going into New York City. The guys have warned me that I may be going home with a lot of money because everything in the city is so cheap. So, no, they tell me everything's really expensive, of course. So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being with my friends. And it should be a really fun time. There were some technical problems last night that I think is just, working the kinks out on tour and things happen. It would be cool tonight if maybe they record this. If it's TR dropped a bombshell on me earlier saying that he was at the Heaven and Hell recording live show when they played at Radio City, which I watch monthly. So if this sounds anything like that show sounded, I know I will leave here and this will now be the greatest show of my entire life. So I'm really excited for that.
It's going to sound awesome. I've been to 2 shows there, and it's going to sound great.
So this is it. John, you said yesterday, this is probably the hall, the most famous concert venue
In the U.S., don't you think?
in the U.S.
It has to be.
Yeah, I would say so.
Maybe for the size where it is, maybe in Madison
Well, and the
Squares.
history and Madison Square Garden, of course, is highly respected and everything.
But for a hall that's under
Yeah.
7,000, it has to be the most famous one in the country.
Absolutely. And I don't want to burst your bubble, but for them to record tonight is going to be I think Porcupine Tree. I remember when Porcupine Tree did their show there, and it was, I think, the cost to do that and the rights and everything. Yeah,
Kill you on that.
Yeah.
They'll lose money on the show.
Oh, really?
It's that expensive.
When you guys were there and they did that, do they hit you with higher ticket prices at the door?
No, I mean, it's just, I guess the whole point is if you set something up like this to do a live album, I think that, I don't know. I mean, I think the ticket prices seem very reasonable to me. So I'm not sure if that gets factored in or how that goes or what the deal is. But for them to get the rights to do a live performance at Radio City Music Hall and sell it, I think it's...
Sell it with their name on it too, I would think, don't you? I think Radio City Music Hall has to be somewhere in the title, somewhere on that.
So, because Heaven and Hell was Heaven and Hell live at Radio City Music Hall.
Dream Theater's score is like that too, isn't it? It says live from Radio City. I don't know. I think it is.
I don't know. I don't know what the the legal ramifications are, but I do know that when Porcupine Tree was doing it, there was some talk about how expensive it was, and that filming was essentially kind of out of the question for them.
Now, did that album turn out as well as the Heaven and Hell recording did?
Well, see, we only got what's it, John? Was that the Octane Twisted? There was just a few tracks, right? I mean, we didn't get the whole thing.
Yeah, so it's very expensive for bands. It's a hit. Some venues that's just part of their licensing, their royalty thing that they're going to treat it as, well, you're going to record here, you got to give us what we want, because that's just the way they do business. So
Never shows you how naive. I would have thought that, hey, you got it.
Yeah, it's not that. I don't know that many albums that are from there that are live. So I know a couple. That's it.
Well, Down in Flames, Buke's Hope, go.
Not to say it won't happen, but I think it's kind of unlikely, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it if they actually did it. The other thing too is, and I think sometimes too, the artists can feel as though if the performance isn't what they were hoping it would be, that they want it to be perfect, or they want it to be really representative of what they want it to be for the fans. And I think that may be why some of that stuff, like the Porcupine Tree performance, wasn't released, because I don't know. I mean, I felt like it was a great performance, but I bet the band or Steven probably felt like some of that wasn't to the level that he had hoped it would be.
Okay, it would just be so cool, because I've said on the pod how many times how often I like live albums. I probably more often gravitate to listening to Opeth's live albums when I want to listen to Opeth. I always love live music. I love them live. I love hearing the fans' involvement. So I guess it would be cool to be a part of something that's captured in time like that. So that's just my sentimental feelings. So, gentlemen, we're a couple miles away from the exit. I'll shut this down right now, and the next time you hear from us, who knows? Things are pretty fluid. So, we'll talk to you guys later. Radio City Music Hall Opeth performance is over. We are driving back home, and after a excellent night where my two compadres tapped out and left me high and dry drinking by myself. Experiencing New York City, which is a city for me because I never sleep. So I was out drinking till 4 o'clock by myself and a nice friend that I met. But let's get everybody's impressions on last night, and anybody listening who's curious how Opeth was at Radio City. John, I'll start with you first this time.
This was, I don't want to use the word epic, but it came off being a very epic-like show in the sense that they were playing in Radio City Music Hall, which if you've never been there before, the stage itself I think was bigger than 3 times the size of the stage at Silver Spring we saw them at the Fillmore. It's just an incredible place. It's almost grandiose when you're in there. It's so big. It's a big cavern when you're in there, and the sound is amazing, and they put on a great show, and we got a similar first set like the first night we saw in the Fillmore, which I think they want, like TR had said earlier, I think they wanted to make sure the New York fans got a taste of the tour. But then the second set was the Damnation and Deliverance, kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, kind of like
Hodgepodge.
Yeah, hodgepodge of like a celebration of the 2 albums that had come out X number of years ago. And they pulled out a couple of rarities that we thought one they would play and one we hoped they played, and they did both, and which was Death Whispered a Lullaby off of Damnation, and the song I never thought I'd ever see them play was By the Pain I See in Others off of Deliverance. And it was great. I had an amazing time. We had great seats. No one standing in front of us for half the show. These guys, they checked in, first song, then left and checked back at the end, and we're gone. We saw a cat fight right next to us. And for the most part, I thought the audience had a great time. Got a great reception. They looked like they were 3 miles away, and we were only, 12 rows from the stage or something. So it was great. I had a great time.
Yeah, I will pass this over to TR. TR, share your thoughts.
I enjoyed it as usual. I felt like the first set of material that they played, which was essentially almost everything that almost everything we heard from the Fillmore show, minus the 2 songs. In Eternal Rains, they didn't play Eternal Rains Will Come in this New York show, but I felt like they made some tweaks because I felt like that first set of material seemed a little smoother and a little better. You had commented on Joachim's backing vocals, and I thought they sounded better last night.
It did sound a lot better.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just because maybe he had trouble hearing or what the first night, but
I think the acoustics in the venue helped out a lot too. I mean, Buke pointed that out. He's like, it just sounds amazing here even without your plugs on, and it did.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. So yeah, I think the first set was, I felt was even better than the Silver Spring show, and the second set, of course, we weren't really sure what to expect. I guess we had thought that they might play both albums in their entirety. What they ended up doing was playing selections from those albums, and the second set was they started with the Damnation tracks and then moved on to the Deliverance songs, ending, of course, with Deliverance. And that really, John, you said it seemed like they kind of kicked it up a notch for that, and I would agree. And I think, we kind of talked about this, that I think they're only doing, 4 shows like this?
Worldwide, yeah, 4 shows. Australia, New York, LA, and London.
Yeah. So I think, there were a few songs that they played last night that they either haven't ever played before live, like By the Pain I See in Others, or that they haven't played in a long time. And I think that, they probably, I don't know how much time they've had to practice this stuff, but I get the impression that not like it was under rehearsed, but it just, certainly not to the level of when we saw them on the Damnation tour and they were playing it every night. There was a tightness that you got there. That same level of familiarity and smoothness maybe wasn't there to the same level as that, but don't get me wrong, outstanding performance.
You know what I think actually would have made it maybe a little more smoother, guys, is if this would have been the first date on the tour. To where they come in, they play Radio City. There's no rushing to a show from a previous night's show. And then there's no leaving to have to get out the next day. So to where the thing is, in the weeks and days leading up, you're practicing this special set. You see what I'm saying? Right. Then you can go right into rolling into then your concert set list.
Yes.
Because they have been playing these new songs.
Right. Well, there's only been a couple of nights.
There has, but the thing is, they've been playing them in the studio,
right,
over the past year, or however long they've been recording. But if they would have started for this Radio City venue, then they could have, I think, maybe had their timing down a little bit better, because things kind of seemed a little out of place, and it seemed like maybe they're kind of making it up as they went.
Well, I think, don't you guys feel they're a little looser on stage now? There's not a tightness to their playing. They just play, and if shit happens. They don't stress about that. But maybe this is part of it. They were easily each about 20 feet away from each other on stage. There was a moment when Mike looks back at Axe and he's just looking for him. I wonder if being so far away that, when you're sitting there and you're ready to go into something, it's a little harder to sense when you guys are ready to go, since they were so far. They're always on top of each other for the most part, on a smaller stage. I don't know.
Yeah, John, you make a great point, because when you're kind of a little closer together, you can kind of cue off a guy's kind of out of this peripheral vision.
Facial expression.
And then just the vibe, or you can just kind of get a sense, just not even looking directly at them, but you can see them kind of out of the corner of your eye. And, you get cues from people without even hardly knowing it once you've played with them a long time. And I didn't think about that, but you may have something there, because they were I mean, it's an enormous stage, but and really we're making more of this than it really was. I mean, this is like in the nitty-gritty, like if I think, because each of us has seen this band so many times, I think that we're very familiar with their live performance and what they do.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we know to look for. Maybe when something's out of place, we notice it because we've seen it so much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that anybody that just walked in and maybe saw Opeth for the first time last night would have probably crapped their pants. I think that in general, though, we have amazing performance. Please, nobody out there get the impression that this was rough or not put together or anything. It was a great performance by Opeth.
Oh, it's a top 5 for all the shows I've seen. Yeah. It's easily a top 5 show.
I'm going to share my quick thoughts. The set was amazing. I don't need to say that again. But the sound, we wear earplugs, speaking of us as metal fans, because it is so loud in these small venues, and we want to save our hearing, or at least I would hope you're wearing earplugs. But like these guys said for me, I took my earplugs out for most of the show, because the sound just filled this venue. It was awesome hearing his voice echoing off of the ceilings and the sides and the guitars and the drums. It was not overpowering, almost to the point where sometimes, since the venue was so big, with the earplugs in, I was only hearing keyboards and stuff coming through it sometimes, or I was actually drowning out one of the guitars. So it's absolutely amazing. It was. I said to George and TR yesterday, we went out. First off, thank you to everybody who came out to the bar with us, had some drinks. It was absolutely amazing. Chris Voss came out and joined us. Our listener of the show, Julie, was there. Friends of your guys,
old friends of ours from Porcupine Tree. Friend Serge and friend Jeff and his Jeff's son were there, that TR and I have known for going back to early 2000s, So it was nice to have older friends and newer friends and people we didn't even know.
Yeah,
that showed up.
What's it, Lance and what was it, Julie from
Yeah.
Cleveland?
Nice.
I enjoyed meeting them and talking with them. And it's great when metal fans can get together. And we had some really good times at that bar. I thought that they had a great beer selection.
Before you go any further,
Yeah.
we got to give props to our friend Dan for he nailed it.
Yep.
When he said you got to go to this place, and
Yep.
and everyone you talk to that are from the New York area, like, I didn't even know this place was here. It's in Midtown. I wouldn't expect this here. Great beer bar.
The place was called the Ginger Man.
Yeah, great.
We were able to go in the back. They had couches and chairs and stuff. Us being beer guys, we had three pages to pick from,
Right.
and then a whole other opposite page of bottles.
Yeah.
But getting back to the show, as we leave the bar and we start walking to the venue, we make the right, walk up half a block to where Radio City is, and it just hits me when you're seeing, the famous neon lights that I've seen since I was a kid. That I say to John and TR that, guys, can you believe this? This is a Swedish death metal band that is playing this right now. Like, they're right here on the marquee. I can't believe this is even happening.
Yeah. It's amazing.
We're not going to turn this into a bit session because really none of us have any negatives. Merch was a little bit of a mess, so I didn't get to get my hands on any merch, but oh well. But just completely was on cloud nine the whole night. Only negative was my buddies here couldn't stay out and celebrate and paint the town red with me. I went back and I drank 4 beers at the bar, taking in New York City. And these two guys are taking in a nice bed at the Marriott. So
You've got a few years, but when you get to those late 40s and you're ready to call it a night.
So I tell you what, once Opeth starts playing matinee shows, the fucking party afterwards is going to be a rager, boys.
Because I could stay up till 10 then, so.
I think we ought to get our letters into Mike now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Come here. Your fan base is getting a little older, Mike. Can we move these up?
For the really old people from out west, I'm sure they've had these all over the country. But we used to have Day on the Green in Oakland all the time. I want to go to Day on the Green, get that show started around 11 in the morning. Yep. Get out of there at 5. Well, early bird. I want to get the food too, Yeah. So.
But it was awesome last night. So if you're a fan of Opeth, you have to see them on this tour. If you're not a fan of Opeth, give them a listen.
Oh, I wanted to throw out. I'm actually coming back in a couple weeks to Radio City to see Cannibal Corpse. I believe they're playing there. So, Will, have you? Sorry, my bad. They're not playing there. Sorry, I got that wrong. I got that wrong, Will. Sorry about that.
Yep. There you go, Will. Take that in your crummy, non-big Cannibal Corpse playing venues.
I'll bring some beer over for that one. Don't worry about it.
But yes, everything was great. Final thoughts on anything, boys? Random? Anything you guys just want to throw out?
It was great show, great time. Hitting the bar was great, and just the whole voyage. Driving up, hanging out, going to the show. Getting some shut-eye while you were drinking. All of it was great. And, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we did this because, again, Opeth, when they do these special shows, it's really worth doing. And I'm glad I was there because it really is momentous for them to play to a nearly full house. I mean, was it sold out?
Sold out, yeah.
There were some empty seats, but
they sold all the tickets for the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, and you could tell Mike was kind of beaming at the end as they walked off the stage, and you could tell that this it has to feel pretty triumphant for them to play Radio City Music Hall to a full house of adoring fans, and he thanked the crowd numerous times, and you could tell that part of this was for the fans. Last night was for the fans as much as it was for the band, and I think everybody it was a win-win for all, and so I'm glad we got to do it.
Yeah, it was a great time. I always like traveling to see these guys, and I had a great time with you guys. It's so far so good in terms of, the only rough part was that drive, me trying to get out of the DC area because of the weather, but other than that, everything's gone pretty smooth. The knee was a problem on this trip because we did a lot of walking, actually. But other than that, and the fact that I had to, get to bed before I turned into a pumpkin, at midnight, it was a good time. I had a blast. I've done more than my fair share of shows, and I'm not bragging or anything. I've done enough for several people, and this was great. This is one of my favorite ones, and I've been to all the special evenings they've done in the States. They've done like 5 of them. I've been to all of them, and this is definitely at the very top from that list. So great time doing it, and I'm assuming we'll do it again at some point soon whenever they do another show in this kind of realm. So
If hearing this makes you want to try and tour with these tour masters right here, bring some extra snacks, okay? Because late night to prevent crankiness.
Hold on now. When you say you're open till 4 a.m. and I'm willing to buy more food and drink more beer, and he's like, we shut the kitchen down a while ago. Well, that's not going to work for me then. I was ready to buy food. I was ready to stick around.
Well, we could have ordered it through the app, through Grubhub, and they would have delivered it there.
And I would have been asleep at that point, probably.
Yeah. So, but if you like to hear, and if you're like me, and you want to party with me, going out to shows, message at Opeth fan. No, guys, thanks for including me in your club. I really enjoyed both you guys. You guys are both awesome guys. So that's our Opeth weekend. We will continue to, praise Opeth. So who knows when another Metalheads podcast episode will be coming out. Month of October. I will be in the forest of October hunting myself. So George has some busy weekends this month, so that will derail us for some episodes then, but this should hold you over. So until next time for the Metalheads podcast, follow us. We are metalheads.com. We're on iTunes. Subscribe to us there. SoundCloud. Any other mobile podcasting app has us. Find John on Twitter. He's at WhiteCluster69, and I am at Opeth fan. All those people, yes, they were trying to be me. They aren't the Opeth fan. So that's it for the Metalheads podcast Opeth weekend. We will talk to you guys later.
And finally, we conclude this episode with Buke's interview of Kevin Bond from Superjoint.
Okay, so this is Buke of the Metalheads podcast. And before I was to head out of town this weekend on a hunting trip, an opportunity came up earlier in the week to interview a member of one of my favorite bands, as I said on the pod before. I'm joined by the one and only Kevin Bond of Superjoint. Kevin, how's everything going today?
Good, man. Very good. Hello, ladies and gents.
Yeah, thank you again for coming on the Metalheads podcast. I have gone on record many times and said, how much I love you guys. I have to be honest, though. I'd be lying if I said that I thought we'd be sitting here November 4th, 2016, and we'd be on the verge of a new Superjoint album coming out.
Right. I was there with you for a long time, my friend. A long time. I really never thought it would. I never thought it would happen, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's something that I had always wanted to happen, and but I just didn't know if the circumstances or the planets would align to make it happen. You know what I mean? And
Exactly. So take us back. So here it is. And again, we're on the verge of your guys' new album, Caught in the Gears of Application, comes out November 11th. Take us back a couple years ago. You guys played the Housecore Horror Film Festival.
yes.
At that time, probably a fun show, and I saw online the reception for your guys' live set was amazing.
It was.
Take us back to that, and if even talk then was even starting about maybe trying to do something more.
Well, I mean, it's a kind of a funny story. I was sitting at home, and I got this random text message saying, "Hey, man, you feel like playing a show on Halloween?" And I was looking at it, I was going, "Who the hell is this?" Because I didn't have that person's phone. I hadn't talked to anybody in so many years.
Yeah.
And it was Jimmy Bauer. And I was like, "Who the hell is this?" He goes, "It's Jimmy, asshole." He's like, "What the mean, who is this?" I was like, "Dude." And then I was like, "What? Okay, play a show with who? Who are you talking? What band are you talking about?" And he's like, "Superjoint," you know. And then he told me the whole story about Corey, rest in peace, and how he always wanted us to get back together and start doing stuff again. So, you know, I thought about it for half a millisecond, and I was like, you know what? Fuck yeah, man. I've been wanting to do this forever. Let's do this. And then, you know, we got in the practice room, and, you know, the atmosphere was right. Everybody's head was right. And we just started going. And then, you know, before the breakup in, 2004, we had started writing some material to do another record. Okay. And that stuff was just sitting there. So, you know, Philip he was telling me, he's like, "Man, I still got these tapes of these riffs that we were writing and doing." So, you know, we started going through those, and one thing led to another. We had, you know, 5 songs in no time and just kept on going. And, you know, we rehearsed for the show at the Horror Fest, and it was just fun. It was fun. You know, when we first started, it was fun. Everybody's looking around at each other going, "Damn, man, this is pretty cool."
Kind of probably reminded you why you started a metal band to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm sure what sealed the deal, not to speak for you, but was when you guys played your first show out of the States and playing Hellfest open air last year.
That was crazy. That kind of just everybody just looked at each other and went, "Man, you know, what are we doing? We got to do something."
it's like, hey, we haven't played a show in years together. Look, now we're playing a festival for a couple thousand people.
Yeah, it's like we haven't played in what is it? In fucking 12 years. Let's go play in front of 5,000-6,000 people in a tent in France. Why not? no pressure at all. But I mean, it was smooth as glass. It was like, man, let's go.
Now, with Kevin, I know, you know, Phil and Jimmy and them, you know, got their other bands that they're all with. You know, I saw Jimmy with I Hate God, and Phil was actually filling in vocals for them at the barbecue a couple months back.
Yeah.
So I know everyone has a full plate. How'd you guys come together, and when did you guys start working on Caught Up in the Gears?
When did we start working on it? We started working on it probably shortly after we got back from France. Started just getting together. Everybody, you know, took time out of their schedules to get together and start writing and doing something. It is kind of, sometimes it can get a little hectic, you know, with everybody's got, you know, different projects they're doing and all that, but, you know, we just find the time to do it.
Does it help that you guys, you know, have grown up, you know, living near one another down south and stuff that kind of makes it always easier getting with one another?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I live, 10 minutes away from Jim, not that far from, we've all lived in the close vicinity of everybody, so that really makes it easy. Yeah. You know, Blue Lou and Steve live in Texas, but, you know, they make time to get down here, so I love them for that.
You know, Kevin, on a quick side note, do you ever thought about what it is about you, and I want to say you guys, the Southern metal bands, especially from the whole NOLA scene, why you guys have kind of your own thing going? Because, you know, you hear pockets like the San Francisco Bay Area, you know, you hear like the East Coast, New York City thing, but down south, you guys got your own thing. You ever put any thought into why something down there kind of formed?
Man, that's a good question, man. I never really thought about it just because I was always doing it. You know, I was always kind of just in it. I think that a lot of it has to do that with just New Orleans is a really small town compared to these other places. Yeah. And everybody knows each other, and it's a very incestuous music scene down here. You know, everybody is either played with one another, or somebody you're in a band with plays in one of the other bands, or has played in one of the other bands. It's small, but it's very close-knit, you know what I mean? It's not so spread out like all these other big cities where you have so many bands. It's kind of really close around here. Yeah. You know, just think of all the bands. Not to speak for you, but you probably saw Acid Bath a ton of times back in the days. Oh my God! I saw Acid Bath. I saw Exhorder, Chaos Order. I mean, just numerous. Oh yeah. You were seeing Goat Whore before anybody knew who the hell they were. Oh. Goat Whore when they first got together, when they were all playing Acid Bath and Soil and Green and stuff. Exactly, man. It's crazy too. At the time, you had no idea what you were a witness to. No, I mean, I can see back in what was it, 86, 87, one of the first bands, probably the first band I ever played in was the remnants of Soil and Green, what turned out to be Soil and Green. And that was your... It was a band... It was a band called Nuclear Crucifixion. Yeah. Which turned out to be Soil, the band, a couple of people left that band, started Soil and Green, and that was the first band I ever played in. Yeah, I see here you're with David, Darren, and Brian on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's this. We've always found it cool. So you guys have your own little scene down there. So getting back to Superjoint now. It is caught up in the gears. I have to say it keeps the same sound that Superjoint had on you guys' previous two albums, and you said a lot of the songs were already written down in some fashion. Or I wouldn't say the songs were written in some fashion, but we had really good starting points for a few songs. Like we had parts that we had started writing, trying to put together, back years ago, and there were some of those parts in the new songs on the new record. Now, is there could be Superjoint of the early days? Could they have done this album? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think so. I think it is the new record probably would have been close to the new record we would have done 12 years ago. Yeah. I think it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close. I mean, everybody is actually playing better and sounding better, so that's a big help. That's one difference, but yeah, I think the attitude and the music and the vocals and the lyric content, I think it's all, I think it would have been pretty close. Now, you guys, I know you have a show coming up. You guys have a tour or anything in the works? We have the Gas Monkey Live show November 12th for the record release show and party. And then I don't have any kind of specific dates or anything, but mid-January we have a tour set up. Oh, I tell you what, I have seen you guys probably,
this would be a low figure. If I said 14 times,
Get the fuck out of here! Come on,
I am dead serious.
Wow. Thank you for that.
If people want to know what Superjoint is live, I want to direct our listeners to Superjoint Ritual live at CBGB's.
That'd be a good one to point them to. That'd be a very good one to point them to.
No, I know every venue isn't like CBGB's, and I know unfortunately there's been some tragic events where the stage might not be open to people jumping on it anymore.
Yeah.
But that captures your guys' live show right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was like at the height of just the craziness. Playing CBGB's before it closed was just an amazing event, and oh my God, it was crazy. I haven't watched that in a long time, but
you can go on YouTube and watch it. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
In the earlier days of Superjoint, and I'm not asking this to, I'm not fucking blabbermouth. I'm not trying to get a sound bite or get a news clip or anything. There was back and forth. There was some, pretty heated discussions from members and past members. Now, I guess in asking this, I'm just trying to make sure, has, the hatchet kind of been buried with previous members and things that may have been said and stuff? Has everybody kind of moved past and you guys, maybe members who aren't in the group, everyone's kind of friends now and stuff?
I don't really have a comment on it.
Okay.
I get on it. I can say everybody has grown up, gotten their heads clear. And everybody is in the space they need to be in.
Great. That's just the answer that I wanted to hear. Because we sit here, like I said, I'm not trying to be a fucking blabbermouth. I think they're one of the worst sites out there. But I remember in the early 2000s, there was so much back and forth shit going on that, as a fan, you just hated to see.
Yeah, but you also got to take that with a grain of fucking bullshit salt, man. There's always he said, she said fucking nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially these fucking days. So, I don't pay attention to any of it, man.
That's what I love to hear. So, again, I'm joined with Kevin Bond of Superjoint. Kevin, the new album comes in 11 tracks in a classic Superjoint form. You got songs normally 2.5, 3.5 minute long songs.
Short and compact, man.
Short and compact. Yeah, blast you in the face like a fucking shotgun blast.
Now, we still do have a couple of little 5-minute, 6-minute Superjoint little tangents that we go on, but for the most part, 2.5, 3 minutes, kick you in the face and go.
Yeah, but someone grabbing this is not going to be expecting like an Opeth 12-minute long Superjoint jam.
No. No. Who the hell wants to play for 12 minutes anyways? It's 12 minutes long.
Kevin, I got to ask, if there's one song, of course, you want everybody to go out and buy the album, but one song for somebody to listen and to hook them on the album, what would you say your favorite one or the best song on the album is?
Golly, some people have been asking me that, and I don't have an answer. I just say press play, man. I like every song, especially since they're new songs after 12 years, man. I can't, just say, listen to this one and you'll get it, or listen to this one. It's like, just put it on and press play.
Just put it on. And
you'll get it.
And, that's the great thing on why I've always loved about Superjoint is these songs, like you said, are so short. It's bam, 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 bam. That's it.
That's it.
And then
if you think about it, that makes you want to go, wait a second, and then you press rewind and you listen to it again.
Yep. Yes. I have to ask, because I am a big vinyl record guy, is this going to be released on vinyl?
It is.
Oh, awesome. Do you yourself dive into vinyl?
I believe we have the classic black vinyl, and I think we're selling it in gold.
Awesome. Do you yourself collect vinyl?
I do not. My girlfriend collects vinyl, so I'm sure she'll start getting me to do it too. I mean, I still have my old Commodores record from when I was a kid, but that's not it.
Looking over my shoulder here, as I'm looking like 600 records. It's once you start going down, you fall pretty hard.
I guess, yeah, man, that's crazy. 600 vinyl? Woo!
Yeah, I just started collecting a couple years ago. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking.
That's all right, though, man. Vinyl needs to come back, man.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I miss the days of just, you put your headphones on and you just stare at the record. You stare at the album cover.
You know, I like the way you just said that, because when I try to describe it to people, they're like, Buke, why are you buying vinyl records? Why don't you just use Spotify or something like that? And I say, vinyl, so many people today listen to music, and music is background for them always doing something else. It's never the activity solely. So when you take vinyl, you actually take it out, you sit down on the couch, you put the headphones on or the speakers, and you listen to it. And a couple tracks, you got to stand up and flip it. That is the activity itself.
I can tell you this right now. I can see it as clear as day in my head. When I was a kid, the record that got me was Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. I would fucking put those headphones on and look at that album cover and just be like, that's what I want to do.
It's always interesting hearing people's diving in points. That Unleashed in the East was yours?
That was mine, man. That was the one that got me. KK Downing, that Flying V, and just the smoke and the fucking. I was like, that's it. That's it. I was a hook, line, and sinker. And then I would just listen over and over and over again.
Trying to look at the Exciter, Running Wild, Sinner, The Ripper. Diamond Rust.
Fuck, Green Man Alicia, dude. That record's crazy. Crazy good.
Oh man, you're right. Kevin, I'm not going to take more of your time. I could keep on talking to you all day long, but just like, I think in true Superjoint fashion, we're going to get in here. We're going to hit you short and sweet with a quick little interview. Let you go about your day.
Beautiful, sir. Beautiful, man. Awesome talking to you, man. We'll have to do it again. We got some more time. Absolutely.
We certainly will, brother. Superjoint Ritual, caught up in the gears of application. It's out November 11th. Go out, pick it up. Definitely take my word. Please see these guys on tour. You're fucking be left speechless. Kevin, you have yourself a great day, brother.
You too, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Later, man.
All right, bye.
Kevin, thank you for the time.
That's all, folks. Check back very soon for our next regular episode.